Three, two, one, it says. All right, I think I'm live. Yeah, Andy here with the Twilight Princess channel. I am back. It's been a little bit, but I have a subscriber now, so I guess I'm obligated to stream. Had a lot going on. I watched a bit of media, worked on some projects. I'm working on let's see, this direction. I'm working on the insert that's going to go here in this shelf. It will be, I don't know where it went. I have an iPad in there, and it'll be framed up with LED lights and stuff around it. It'll be a kind of cool little portal looking out into space for my Star Wars display there. And then I'm going to start working on electronics to light the shelves and behind the Funko case, and then going to start working on some shelving for the statues, so I can display more than one while I'm streaming. I'm going to go vertically up this side. So I've been doing that. Been working on some, hit my microphone, working on some soldering and stuff like that to do all the electronics. But yeah, I've been doing a bunch of that stuff, but not been doing a lot of streaming. And in part, I haven't been doing a lot of streaming because there's been some disappointing stuff on. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Boba Fett. I have a few friends in my immediate social circle who have been watching at least some of the episodes. Some watched the first one or two and then kind of dropped off. They're gonna. They said they maybe pick it back up when the whole show is over. Who knows if they will or not. I stay current at Star Wars, so I stay up late. Tuesday nights, I guess for me, I stay up late and I watch it. I guess I'm just a sucker for Star Wars, even when I'm being disappointed. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about Book of Boba Fett. But one of the last times I streamed was after seeing Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I loved, which was amazing, and rolled right from Ghostbusters Afterlife into Spider-Man No Way Home, which was fantastic. Completely reinvigorated my interest in supers because I got to tell you, Marvel has been massively disappointing with their entries. So anyway, we had those two great cinematic events. Dune was good, although that was earlier in the spring, but kind of back to back. I had Ghostbusters Afterlife, huge win. Spider-Man No Way Home, fantastic feel good movie. So super hyped going into Book of Boba Fett. In true Disney form, they made the trailer look pretty good, pretty exciting. And then in true Disney form, I don't know how they bottled lightning with The Mandalorian for 2 seasons, and then have entirely lost capacity to write episodic television. All the Marvel stuff has been lackluster. I think we were all so excited for streaming episodic shows that we kind of gave WandaVision a pass. Plus, it was such a bizarre show. The whole premise of it, the whole concept, and the way it evolved, like through the black and white episodes and the sitcoms, it was very novel. Oh, spoilers for WandaVision if you didn't watch it. Over a year old show, but I think we were all kind of still riding high on the Infinity War Endgame rush. And, it took a little bit to realize that, wow, WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Hawkeye recently, which I didn't watch, but all that stuff moving forward, it's going to be more akin to, Captain Marvel and Spider-Man Far From Home and Black Panther, which, those are some of the, kind of, they don't shine as brightly as some of the amazing MCU stuff, like Civil War, like the First Avenger, even in Thor Ragnarok, which I loved. It was such a fun movie. Um, even then, you could kind of see the direction that Marvel was going. I don't know if that's the first time they kick their male lead in the balls, but it has to happen every season at this point, or every movie. Um, anyway, kind of started to see the way Disney was going, and with their episodic television. Um, Not only are they still following that kind of, in my opinion, a downward decline, they're making it worse. And Mandalorian was such a breath of fresh air because was it the best thing ever made? No, I don't know if any Star Wars ever is. It's you're not looking to change the world with Star Wars films. You're looking to entertain with it, and I think Mandalorian achieved that. Um, Not only was it an entertaining show, both seasons, it showed that people still have an appetite for episodic, like Western style shows, kind of Quest of the Week style stuff. And sure, there's an overarching plot, um, but it makes me think of shows like The X Files, kind of Monster of the Week style stuff. And yeah, there's the through thread of the smoking man and the government conspiracies and stuff, and it's fun to revisit that from time to time. Him trying to find the Jedi to give Grogu to, that was kind of the thread there. Um, but but it showed, I think, that people have an appetite for that kind of entertainment. I think it also showed that Disney has the capacity to do that and to do it at a level that's entertaining enough that it creates kind of a cultural phenomenon. Like we now have Grogu as the Mickey Mouse of a new generation. I'm surprised. I would be very surprised if we don't see, Grogu ears replacing Mickey Mouse ears in at least parts of the Disney parks. Right? It was that impactful of a show, and so far we gotten on Boba Fett. Maybe not so much the case. So we're going to talk about that. I might talk about some other things. Um, might talk about Wheel of Time. Um, and then I have The Expanse coming up. I did not want to watch The Expanse week by week um, for reasons. I can talk about that when I talk about The Expanse, but I have that to look forward to. So I'm going to watch the sixth and apparently final dot 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 question mark. There's talk of a seventh season. I guess they left it open plot wise for a seventh season. I'll see that maybe when I watch the show, but sure sounds like it's done. Um, so I have that to look forward to. We'll talk about that too. But first of all, Book of Boba Fett. I put in the title. Um, we've got three more episodes to salvage a season of this. And I'm going to talk about some specifics, but just in general, here's my thoughts on Book of Boba Fett. Is it great? No. Is it Star Wars filler content? Yes. It is empty Star Wars calories. And if you know, when it comes down to it, what I would rather have is hugely impactful Star Wars stories. Um, if you think about it this way, Clone Wars season 7, right? 12 episodes, all Disney. Episodes 1 through 4, fine, totally fine. Like Star Wars Solo, right? That level of, it's not great. It's not utterly empty. Some people probably like it. It introduced the Bad Batch and set up what the Bad Batch show, the follow on to the beloved Clone Wars. Totally fine. B plus maybe for you, Star Wars content. Episodes 5 through 8, utterly empty. Disney plot _1 _2 _3, with a Star Wars cosplay suit on it. Totally forgettable. Really slowed the pace of the season. Just empty Star Wars calories. And that I think is kind of where we're at with Boba Fett. And then we had Clone Wars season 7, episodes 9 through 12, which if made as a movie, maybe rivals Rogue One, Empire Strikes Back, um, for prequel era fans, Revenge of the Sith, as maybe some of the best Star Wars content ever put on a screen. Really good. And that's all Disney era. That's all Disney made. Disney scripts. Sure, they Filoni probably had an idea of where it was going before Disney bought it and canceled the Clone Wars, but that you can't take the impact of those 4 episodes and the culmination of years worth of Clone Wars storytelling. You can't take that away from Disney. It was done on their dime, under their watch, and it still is incredible. I go back and watch it not every month, but probably every couple months. I go back and watch, if not the entire season 7, at least those last 4 episodes. Actually, that's not true. I think I've seen episodes 5 through 8. I've maybe seen each of them twice. Those are really, the whole Martell sisters thing is just dumb. But yeah, so if I was going to place Boba Fett in the kind of content, it doesn't even reach Solo level. It's just a couple Star Wars set pieces, a little bit of like, ooh, that's a deep cut to the comic books, which I love. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about this, but there's 2 things I loved about Book of Boba Fett so far. One was a comic book deep cut, and the other one is an entirely new character. So I'll talk about those in a little bit. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at in the show in general. It's not great, but it's Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, so it's fine. It's fine. It's not good. It's fine, but I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to not watch it. But I'm probably not going to recommend it to anybody, right? If they've never watched Star Wars before, I'm not going to hook them with this. It's the story's just not good enough. The writing's not good enough. And if they're already Star Wars fans, I'd probably be a little embarrassed bringing it up in a conversation where we didn't get down to, if we're talking about a top 10 Star Wars properties, yeah, I don't think it makes a top 10 list. And there's only, what do we got? 11 movies and 5 or 6 animated series, if you count things like Droids and Ewoks. So I mean, it's only got to beat out half of the properties to make the top 10 list, and I don't think it does that for me yet. Obviously, the season isn't over, but if they're going to finish strong and win everyone over with the last 3 episodes, it kind of begs the question, well, what the hell were you doing with the first 4 episodes? Because you're threatening to chase people off. So that's where I'm at overall with the show. It is empty, vacuous, pretty Star Wars stuff, and I'm here for it. But I'm gonna need an entree, right, to follow this watery soup pretty soon, and hopefully that'll come with Kenobi. And my sleeper pick for good Star Wars is Andor. Disney's no, everyone's down on Andor. Maybe I just have an overinflated opinion of Rogue One, but I'm really excited for Andor. I'm more worried about, so when I think about upcoming Star Wars projects, I'm more worried what they're going to do with the Obi-Wan show, because I've seen what Disney has done with Marvel, and very current with Book of Boba Fett, and I'm terrified what they might do with Kenobi. I'm hopeful that it's freaking amazing, and it blows the Mandalorian away, and it cements weekly episodic Star Wars as the way to make and to watch Star Wars. But I'm terrified because Obi-Wan is such an amazing and such a beloved character that they're going to screw that up. Andor, kind of the sky's the limit, right? He's I think he's a really cool actor. Rumor has it that he's a fantastic, huge Star Wars fan. I love the idea of getting somebody who is, devoted to the property, right, to the franchise, as a star, as a fan. Um, I just think of what we've been hearing about Henry Cavill during the course of the Witcher season 2 filming, where he kind of really saved some scenes that gave them uh, plot impact, story impact, emotional impact, where the showrunners, who are maybe more like corporate driven or agenda driven or money motivated, whatever they were hired to do, right? That weren't necessarily as beloved, fans of the franchise. They were going to play off his jokes. So I'm happy to have that in Star Wars if that's what um, De Luna, I think is his last name, his space's name. If that's what he brings there, so that's cool. But you don't have 4 decades of, geez, 5 decades almost of lore and experience and preconception with the Cassian Andor character that you do with Obi-Wan Kenobi. So while I'm excited for both shows, I have a fair bit of nervousness, some trepidation with the Obi-Wan show, where with Andor I just have hope and best wishes for what they might be able to pull off. So yeah, we're kind of in the midst of this low-cal appetizer to what I'm hoping is better Star Wars. And I'm just going to share my screen here. Um, and again, I already gave my thoughts on Boba Fett. Like, it's not good, right? So that begs the question, why? And not to be entirely negative, it's not good. Are there any bright spots? And yes, I think there are some, and for me, they're enough, right? They're enough to get me through. But let's talk first. Let's go over some of the negative first. So this show does not understand at a fundamental level. This show doesn't understand two things. One, or if it does understand it, it's unwilling to show it on a Disney platform. One, this show does not understand crime, and it doesn't understand crime lords, and it doesn't understand criminals, right? So one, it doesn't understand crime. Two, it does not understand leadership. And I pulled up a couple screenshots. So just looking at these, this is the mayor, right? This is the mayor of. You see the. I should pull up the screenshots of the town. I'm not going to do it now. If you've seen the show, it's like this big sprawling crater filled with city, and then up above on the cliffs above the crater city is just more sprawl of the working district, and I can't remember all the districts. Right, so we're not talking Manhattan here. We're not talking Dallas Fort Worth. We're not talking San Francisco, but a big town, right? For one of the largest cities in Tatooine. I don't know how many living beings are there, how many droids are there, but it's big, right? So the mayor of this place, there's a exterior door that leads right to a little customer service lobby desk with one dude there, and he calls call him the major domo, but essentially the mayor's chief of staff, who walks out a door like he was just standing on the other side, and he's right there, and is helping random person, happens to be Boba Fett, right? But whoever comes in. So that's the lobby. They get through that door, either through force coercion or whatever, but they get through the door, and then they are in the mayor's office, and then he is sitting on a throne with a handful of people just standing around. right? Every appearance that he's been there the entire time, just sitting around waiting to mayor. He's super merry and he's waiting to mayor his ass off. All right, so that's the mayor. You got the Pikes, criminal masterminds. They're taking over the planet from established crime lords. And sure, there's a little turmoil because Jabba died and then Bib Fortuna was killed, but he's taking over the whole planet. He's going to bleed it dry with his spice enterprise. So Boba goes to meet with him. He walks down a flight of stairs, through a door, right into this. Not the head of the Pike Syndicate, but the lead guy on Tatooine, right? So the guy in charge of the planet, ostensibly. And he's the dude sitting on a throne, twirling a glass of wine, water, whatever it is, with a couple lackeys standing beside him. So that's the Pikes. We got Boba himself. You get into Jabba's palace, either through the main gate, which everyone seems to be able to do, or through a vast number of secret entrances that are super easy to get into. Everybody's in and out of this place all the time. You get into Jabba's palace, you walk down a flight of stairs, and there's Boba's throne, and he's sitting on it with a lackey there next to him. So you have all these leaders, crime leaders, extraplanetary leaders, civil leaders, and they're all portrayed sitting on a throne, waiting for something to happen. And it just shows that they don't understand leadership, right? It's not necessarily fun, I don't think, to write a story where you're watching bureaucrats do paperwork, but it doesn't matter if you're a mayor, like a bureaucrat, if you're CEO of a business, and so a private sector employer. Doesn't matter if you're a teacher at a school or administrator or principal at a school. It's like if you have that position of authority, you work your ass off. You work your ass off, or the organization fails, or you get replaced, right? So I don't think they understand leadership. Like all these people are just sitting around looking serious and waiting to receive their vassals, and it's kind of dumb looking. It's kind of cookie cutter, and it really kind of begs the question: why does anyone take any of these, um, air quotes, powerful people at all seriously? And that is, I'm not the first one to level this critique at Boba Fett. There's a variety of reasons to not be impressed by him and to not take him seriously in his own show. This is one of them. This is not a portrayal of somebody who is performing in a leadership position. It's not a good portrayal, and as such, it's hard to take them seriously as leaders. And I think it's hard to take the characters in Book of Boba Fett specifically, serious as a leader. Hard to take him seriously as a threat, and hard to take him seriously as a protagonist. And we'll go over some of the other reasons why. So yeah, I just wanted to show these, like, powerful dude sitting on throne doing nothing with his lackey standing by. Powerful dude sitting on a throne doing nothing with his lackey sitting by. It's like, this is the way Disney views leaders. Let's talk about crime, because Book of Boba Fett does not seem to understand that a criminal empire is run on crime. I think I would have to go back and watch the episode specifically and like write down all the references to actual criminal activity. But it's Disney, so I don't know why they chose to do this. Why they chose to like make the Godfather of the Star Wars universe, when they knew that they couldn't do it they couldn't do criminal activity on Disney Plus. I'd like to say it's because corporate guidelines say they can't glorify or normalize criminal behavior on their streaming platform. But maybe it's just that they don't get it, because it seems to be the concept of a criminal underground in Disney Plus Star Wars is there's a bar where they serve drinks and there might be a little gambling on the side. It's a little speakeasy ish. They got a little band up there playing music. Maybe a pretty girl or two walking around in what for Disney is a very racy getup. And yeah, maybe they're playing a little Sabat in the background for real money, and don't want to get caught doing that by the authorities. Right? That seems to be the extent of criminal activity. Um, the other, which is ridiculous, right? The other thing that the other way in which they don't seem to understand criminal activity and crime lords is Boba Fett should be dead, right? Or ignored, one of the two. It's you don't stage a coup simply by killing the person you're replacing. Um, it's ridiculous in just about any circumstance you could envision, right? If you went to work and killed your boss and said things are going to be different now, um, right? You wouldn't be in charge; you would be arrested. And the reason for that is you don't get to take something over without institutional support, right? Um, Boba Fett comes into Jabba's palace and kills Bib Fortuna. He doesn't take over Bib Fortuna's operation. Bib Fortuna's lackeys overwhelm and kill him. Okay, say they can't. Like Boba Fett is just too much of a martial force, and he kills them all. Well, then he doesn't have an organization anymore, right? You do not take a coup without organizational support. That's the case uh, in our world, and it's nonsensical to think that that wouldn't be the case in the Star Wars universe as well. Um, there's some real world U.S. political parallels to draw there too, but I won't go there. But yeah, you do not stage a coup without institutional support, and Boba didn't have that, right? So why would anyone take him seriously? Um, and I think we're supposed to take him seriously in the show, although it doesn't take him seriously in anything other than a very small window of time in episode 2. So Disney doesn't understand leadership. They don't understand authority and responsibility. They certainly don't understand crime and criminal activity. And why on earth would anyone be paying Boba Fett? I mean, case in point, episode 4, he walks into a bar, same bar we've seen, and um, there's clearly an altercation going down. When he comes in, property's already been damaged, drinks have been spilled. I don't know if tables have been broken or anything yet. And somebody he's already had a altercation with has, Wookiee has a Transocean in the air and is threatening them. The owner of that establishment is trying to talk him down, right? So if Boba Fett is the crime lord here, he is shaking down these businesses for money. It's a protection racket, right? He's got one job at that point. He is only of value as a crime lord and only a threat, right? As a crime lord, only owed tribute as a crime lord if he protects the establishment. And he does nothing. He lets the owner try to talk him down. It's like, hey, it was worth a shot. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. So leads me to another point. We'll talk about another thing that is done very poorly with the Book of Boba Fett. Black Chrysanthemum, super cool to see in live action. I'm not the biggest fan of the. I wouldn't say I'm not the biggest fan of the Star Wars comics. I just haven't read many of the modern ones. I don't have any of them up. I've got my graded copies of the stuff from back in the 70s, and I've got some like I got the some Darth Vader. Darth Vader comics are awesome. The modern ones. I get some of those CGC graded. Um, but I haven't read all the Black Chrysanthemum things. But it's cool to see any EU characters um, making it their way into live action, and I think Black Chrysanthemum looked really cool. They set him up coming in as this menacing threat, like he was the silver bullet that the Hutts were going to use to take Boba Fett out. Uh, cool set piece, built some cool tension, utterly wasted it. Just immediately let off the relief valve while the Hutts are like, yeah, actually, we're leaving. You can keep our Wookiee, and hey, here's a Rancor. All right, we're out. So weird. But Black Chrysanthemum shows up, and he is this threat. He's legendary, right? Um, maybe since Boba Fett's been gone and presumed dead, he's more of a legendary threat than a reputational threat than Boba Fett at this point. And he shows up with this badass gun. And then, of course, we know um, he goes and he fights Boba Fett. Does he take his gun? Nope. Multiple people have, Boba Fett has been in jeopardy during his show. Like multiple people have been gunning for him, but not with guns. He shows up and he uses his knuckle dusters. He's got his brass knuckles, his electrified brass knuckles to fight Boba Fett. The reason I bring this up is we have cool characters like Boba Fett, right? Who are completely ineffectual and unthreatening in this show. Cool EU characters like Black Chrysanthemum, legendary throughout the galaxy, right? Totally not a threat in this show. There are a couple people who are threats in this show, but and we'll talk about them. But really, the only one with any degree of competence and sound decision making is Finnick. Um, yeah, Book of Finnick guest starring Boba Fett, I guess. But yeah, so this was the dumbest fight scene ever. It was cool to see Black Chrysanthemum fight Boba Fett, but the most ridiculous setup ever. If we wanted to have Black Chrysanthemum in a bare knuckle fight with a moist underwear wearing Boba Fett, I probably would have set that up in a way that made Black Chrysanthemum look a little less stupid. Right? He goes to kill Boba Fett, and he does it by not using any of the weaponry we've already seen him with that would do a fantastic job dispatching Boba Fett, but pulls him out, throws him toward his armor and weaponry, and tries to beat him up with his fisticuffs. Yeah. Utterly disregarding the fact that he probably should have just torn Boba Fett in half immediately, or cut him open, since Wookiees have these massive tree climbing like koala sloth like claws. But I guess none of that happened. And then this scene, it's not a good screenshot, but just makes me think. What is going on here? I don't know. I'm probably going to get copyright struck, but that's okay. Nobody watches my videos. I just make them for me. So yeah, super disappointing. Disney doesn't understand authority, doesn't understand leadership, doesn't understand crime, and none of the characters in the show are really deserving of respect as threats. I will say, for me, with one exception, and that's this character. I don't know if she has a name other than Tusken Warrior. I know she's played by a female, because as the credits scrolled by, it was like Joanna, something like that. We can look her up. Let's look her up. Let's hide that so it's not there. Well, I guess that's still there. Book of Boba Fett, IMDb. Oh, full cast and crew. There we go. Joanna Bennett. I wonder if she does the fight scenes too. Huh. She was in Captain Marvel. Maybe stunts? She was the stunt double for Gal Gadot in Justice League. That's cool. Yeah, she's been in a bunch of stuff. Who is she in Aquaman? Stunt double for Amber Heard. Stunt double in The Wasp. Yeah, she's done a bunch of Disney stuff. Yeah, she's cool, right? Um, I think Disney earns a uh, a reasonable and defendable amount of crap from its portrayal of heroic, statuesque female characters. They do them bad, right? They basically make them kind of characters of stereotypical male heroes, and they don't make them earn it. Um, they did this character really well, I think. Uh, in the very first episode, she fights Boba Fett, and it was a little bit like, oh, here we go. He's got to get his ass beat by a girl. Um, and he does. But you know, it's a little defensible. He's like barely hanging on to life. You know, we learned later that he was so out of it he didn't even realize he'd lost his armor after getting out of the Sarlacc pit. Right? I don't think that's a plot hole. I just think it's something the script didn't convey very well. It's poorly written. But you know, so a little defensible that she, you know, and he is in such a sickened, weakened state that you know, a primitive female warrior can beat his ass. Okay, that's fine. But they didn't leave it there. We spent the better part of 3 episodes with this character. There's way more flashback scene than there was current day scene. Excuse me. So we spent a lot of time with this character, and she trained. You know, she practiced, and we got to see that. And she trained Boba, right? Boba Fett had his. If he was the Boba Fett we knew from the movies in the 80s, and you know, she wouldn't have stood a chance. He would have pulled out a blaster and killed her, or shot her with a rocket, or any number of things. No disintegrations this time. But you know, standing there in his shirt sleeves with an unfamiliar melee weapon, and her being a virtuoso with it, she trashes him, and she trashes him, and he wants to learn, and she teaches him. So not only do we see her practicing, not only do we see her demonstrate her prowess, we see her at a level where she's willing to teach. And that takes both skill, experience, and confidence to be able to teach someone else. So we see her do this, and then in the train episode, which has its problems, Boba Fett is, you know, he's finally shown some amount of agency where he's like, I can help, I can show you how to defeat the train. Thank goodness he took some initiative and did something in his own show. That was about it. But he's ineffectual combat wise on the train. She comes in and just like destroys the Pikes. Marches down that train, John Wick style, just taking them out one after another after another. It was like out of an Aliens movie, just the monster from below taking these Pike soldiers out, gangsters, I guess. Very cool scene. If you were super opposed to strong female protagonists, maybe you would roll your eyes on it. I thought it was utterly badass. And my hopes for this character is I think she's still alive. I don't think I'm the only one who's stumbled on that. Hey Misha, I don't know what VYNFYI is, um, but good to see you in chat there. Um, yeah, I don't think I'm the only one who's kind of under the impression that she's probably still alive. But yeah, I think we're going to see her again. And my hope for her is it'd be cool if she was force sensitive. I mean, it would explain um, why she had such great martial prowess. Um, and wow, I mean, she was amazing on that in that train scene. So that'd be kind of cool, and I would be here for it. I would honestly rather watch that than this current iteration of Boba Fett. Um, so to recap, um, these characters, they're just not. They're cool looking, but they're just not a threat. They're written so poorly that you almost can't even take them seriously because of the daft decisions that they make. But clearly, Disney is capable of writing really cool characters that demonstrate competence and and I don't know. I hope that they can build on that strength because they don't seem to have any interest in building on Boba Fett's strength. And part of it, I think, is the writing. And I should have had this pulled up already, but so Jon Favreau is credited with writing this. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Yeah. So Jon Favreau is credited with writing this show, and he may have, but I don't know how much of it he's actually written. Like he might have notes, kind of like most people won't know about this, but I do some writing when you partner with a established author. You'll see a novel's co-authored, right? And you'll have like Michael Crichton or uh, David Drake, or a very prolific, prominent writer, and then it'll be co-written with another author. The other author did all the work. Um, the headlining author will maybe um, develop an outline and give it to the junior writer, but usually not. Usually they'll say, "Come up with an outline," and then they'll take the outline and they'll tweak it, and then they'll say, "Go write the book," and then they'll have an editorial pass before it goes to the publishing house's editors. So, like Favreau may have written Book of Boba Fett in that kind of way. But this Noah Clore guy, I don't know him from Adam. We'll look at his credits. I haven't yet, but we will. Um, Ming-Na Wen and Tamara Morrison did an interview, and it's gotten a fair amount of coverage because of Tamara Morrison saying that he had notes on the character. He's like, I don't think Boba should be talking this much. I think he should be, more mysterious, more menacing, this kind of quiet, threatening figure. And Tamora Morrison is saying that because he's watched Star Wars, right? So people focused a lot on that aspect of the interview. But another thing they said was, he um, asked the director, and then, can we do some changes to Book Boba Fett? He specifically said because Jon Favreau wasn't there. He was on a trip to do something else, probably with a movie, because he was going to Atlanta. They film a lot of the Marvel stuff in Atlanta. So he mentioned the other guy, and then Ming-Na Wen bails him out because she's awesome and such pro. She's like, "Oh yeah, Noah," and it's this guy Noah Clore. He's the staff writer. I don't know this guy from Adam. He's a kid. What has he written? Alien Xmas? No idea what that is. The Amazing Cartwright, Sleigh Bells. All right, so he's got writing credits all the way back to 2011. Um, a comedy horror. So he's the staff writer. So I think what Disney is doing is they have a rough outline from Favreau on like here are some story beats. And then I think they're leaning on guys like Noah to say, what would these characters do in these situations and in these scenes? Um, which is a really uninspiring way to write, to be honest. You know, if you've written anything for professional publishing, and I have, uh, you write and you rewrite and you rewrite and you rewrite, and then if you're lucky, you have a writing team and you give it to them and they eviscerate it. And then you're like, oh, yeah, those are all really good points I didn't see because I was too close to my story or cared too much about, things that were cool in my head, but actually don't really work or don't support the motivations of the characters or whatever. And you rewrite it. Then eventually you give it to the editor and like, this is great, make it half the length and cut out all these parts that aren't important and you rewrite it again. So that's the way good stories are crafted, right? And I really think with Book of Boba Fett, they're making this up, probably not entirely on the fly, but they have the general structure of it, and they have to um, program all the digital stuff into the volume long in advance. So they have the set pieces, they have the basic blocking, but I think they're more focused on that than they are telling a story. And I'm not trying to throw this poor guy Noah under the bus. I'm sure he's stoked to be working on Star Wars and at Disney, and I wish him all the best. But I don't think he's set up for a huge amount of success in the job from what I've seen of the final product, um, and from what the actors have said about their own roles and their own direction. So yeah, uh, I think I would have rather seen the book of this person, right? The book of Boba Fett is more Finnick Shan's story. Um, it's weird the way they're doing it asynchronous, right? I think the story would have been straight up better if they told it linear. And I know what they're trying to do because it's such a such a well used formula to have two um, convergent timelines. They don't even need to converge. They just need to be parallel. And like, oh, these flashback scenes from the past um, slowly reveal over time to be influencing and having impact on the present timeline. Never saw that coming, right? It's a it's super super common. It's awesome when it's pulled off well, but it's not in this case. I would have rather just seen the entire story told in a linear fashion. If you wanted to tell the story of Boba Fett with the Tuskens, just tell it. And it would be more Star Wars too. Linear storytelling. Feel free to jump to other perspectives, right? It's okay in Return of the Jedi when we spend time with Leia and the Ewoks, and then we spend time with Luke talking to Vader, and then we spend time with Han and Chewie trying to take down the shields. It's okay to move those perspectives. But in this show, it's like we're going to keep it tight on Boba Fett's point of view. We're not going to leave that at all, and we're not going to move in a linear way. We're going to jump around. I think they would have been way better served to make it 2 seasons if you need to. I don't think they have enough story as currently written to justify 2 seasons, maybe not even 1. But tell the story of him with the Tuskens getting out of the Sarlacc pit and maybe up to the point where he gets his armor back or to the point where he saves Finnick. Then we already have that story from The Mandalorian. We already know what happens then. Then if you want to have him kill Bib Fortuna and take over the planet, have him do it. But make him a crime lord. Don't make him, chase rabbit droids around with Benny Hill music playing in the background. Um, Yeah, just destroyed one of Star Wars' coolest characters as far as I'm concerned. They may be coming up with a new Disney era amazing character. Um, be a little hard to pull off unless she's very silent. Uh, a little bit of the Tuscan language goes a long way. I don't know if I'd want to see her Disney Plus series and listen to that Tuscan speech um, for a half hour every week, but maybe they could pull it off. So anyway, there are a couple bright spots. Overall, super disappointed in the show. I hope they can turn it around and do something that's actually good. But yeah, super disappointing. There are a couple bright spots. Even though we're once again on a Star Wars desert planet, there's been some really cool set pieces. Um, Not the Vespas, um, not necessarily many of the locations they've gone to, but some of the scenes. When we first see Black Chrysanthemum, that was awesome. I don't have a screenshot of it rather pulled up, but I thought the twins were awesome. People complain about seeing Huts in CG. I thought they did a great job. Um, Both the twins had personality and kind of individual character, and they didn't do much. I thought they would be more of a threat. Maybe they'll come back at the end and they're in league with the Pikes or something. But um, uh, they looked awesome, right? And then it's always cool to see Slave One in action. We got to see a little bit of that. And then I actually really warmed up to the whole Tuscan timeline. Um, I could have dealt with more of that. So there's been some bright points. If they made hot toys of all these characters, I don't think I'd pick any of them up. Right? If they made statues of any of these characters, I don't think I'd pick them up. I thought about getting the Finnick Shand hot toy. Um, Maybe. Here we go. Uh, this is an amazing 6 scale figure. Just super well done. Stop, honey. I thought about picking this up, but not because of Book of Boba Fett, not even because of The Mandalorian, because of Bad Batch. Um, they could have done her really poorly in Bad Batch. Like she did technically beat Cad Bane, but they kind of fought each other to a draw. Um, and I think in a straight up fight when he wasn't trying to capture a girl unscathed, like he might have taken her apart. And it's a little bit of the whole comic book thing. Hulk fights Spider-Man, who wins? Kind of depends on whose book it is. There's a little bit of that going too, and that was kind of more Finnick's show than Cad Bane's. But this is a really good hot toy. I'm not going to pick it up. The Boba 2-pack. You probably have it here if I... No, I don't have it. Let's look up Boba Fett. Sold out? Might be sold out. There it is. It's 2-pack. This is, again, an amazing figure. Let me find the head sculpt. Seriously, honey, go away. I mean, that is if you just flash this up on the screen to somebody, they might think that this is a still from the show. Like, that's a really good head sculpt. And I've talked to some people who bought the 2-pack and they have it, and they said it's not like just the photography and good Photoshop work. It looks that good in real life. Um, and even though the armor in the show is a little different, like the pads are underneath the shoulder padding, and the shoulder padding is black. There's some differences, but yeah, really good 2-pack. I'm not gonna pick it up. And like I said, if they make statues of this, no, I might make a Boba on a bantha. That'd be big. Not gonna pick that up. Uh, they don't have a droid I like in this show. Maybe they're gonna try to make the little rabbit droid into the droid of the show, but yeah, there's this is Book of Boba Fett is just tiding me over toward other stuff. It's a shame they could have done, like, he is one of the most legendary storied characters in the Star Wars universe. They could have done a lot with him. I guess they just decided not to. So that's Book of Boba Fett. Definitely a disappointment after the high highs of Ghostbusters Afterlife and Spider-Man No Way Home. Definitely a disappointment there, and yeah, especially after waiting so long since the end of The Mandalorian season 2 for any more live action um, Star Wars to get this. I mean, it sure is making Star Wars Visions look good. Visions, what was there, 9 episodes of that? I would say 6 of them were good, like really good. 3 of them were fine. The twins one was, it was all right. The cutesy robot Pinocchio, droid Pinocchio one was like fine. Some of them were really good though. The wedding one, amazing. The Last Jedi with the saber smith, fantastic. Like I would rather see a Disney Plus show about that than what we're getting with Book of Boba Fett. So yeah, disappointing, very disappointing, and hopefully not indicative of the future. So what else did I say I was going to talk about? Wheel of Time. I'm going to talk about Wheel of Time. I'm going to save that. We'll talk about Wheel of Time, and I'll dedicate a show to it. I want to pull some stuff up so I have it available. But as a little preview of it, had its moments, and overall, I hate the fact that they made it, and I was not only an apologist for some of the decisions they were making and changes they were making, but was actively trying to kind of recruit people to watch it. And just decision after decision chased me away. And I can't remember if it was, whoa, just hit my mic. Can't remember if it was episode 6 or episode 7. It's just like, nope, tapping out. I don't even know how many episodes were in the season, 9, 10. Don't care, didn't finish, won't watch anything of it again. And as a result of uh, what they did with Wheel of Time, I have no interest in what they're going to do with Game of Thrones, or not Game of Thrones. Wow, Freudian slip. Lord of the Rings. I think it's going to be bad. I think if you were a fan of Lord of the Rings, either the movies and or the books, I think you're gonna. I think we're gonna get Amazoned hard. It's they have taken the whole Netflix adaptation debacle thing to heart. I guess as the recipe for making these live action adaptations. Whew. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's amazing, but not holding out hope. I am still holding out hope for Star Wars though. And the last thing I was going to talk about is The Expanse. I guess maybe the thing to do is just to go ahead and watch it. I think it's only like 6 episodes, 7 episodes, something like that. I thought about watching it and doing a review, but I kind of had other stuff going, and I ended up just avoiding all news or response to it. I don't even know if it was well reviewed by like fans or critics. I've kind of been head in the sand on the Expanse. I'm gonna binge it, so I might do that this week and then give a little response. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'm gonna wrap it up. I wish I had better news for Book of Boba Fett. Like, it's having all these amazing ingredients and coming up with the most uninspired, bland meal imaginable, and and that's kind of disappointing. Kind of disappointing. Yeah, hate to leave on a down note, but there we have it. Um, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff if you're into it. I actually have a subscriber now. No idea who it is, but if you're out there, I hope you enjoyed the show. Um, and take it easy.